Yeah, whole prof here, just shaven and showered. Still get back to work. Working a bit late on a Friday, but with how crazy work has been, and actually home with the server. Well, let's just say still shitting the bed, and wait for it. Oh, yep. Don't worry, those last three didn't die in there. They were never good in the first place. I did have two more 8 terabytes drives, so it's six of my 12 drives. Yeah! So exactly what you need to do when that happens is, yes, this is my Happy Hacking Keyboard Snow over here. You'll be seeing that in a bit. But, never bad to pick up another keyboard. I don't pick them up that off. There's one right there. Well, that one took years to come out. Okay. I don't get that many of them because I like 60%. Like if you notice, this one's not plugged in. This is a WASD V2 with a V3 chassis converter to Type C with amazing chocolatier keycaps. So basically, Willy Wonka, golden ticket. You might be able to see it way back there. Golden ticket keycaps. Normally it's 60% because I don't, Here you go. See, we're back to the snow. Up there, because I actually don't like it. There's the studio. Maybe if they come out with a wrist rest specifically for it. I saw some, Japan selling it. It hasn't made it to the U.S. yet. Maybe I'll try it again. But basically, the big thing is the big chin. Alright, so they have to add the buttons, which are basically, imagine this brown strip. So it spaces your hands away, and I don't know. I just couldn't get used to it. So what we have here, though, is the Keychron Q60 Max. So this is basically Keychron's Happy Hacking keyboard. Legitimately. And you're like, Prof, you had one of those. Did you buy another one? It's right here. Actually a decent cable. There's Paisley Marie. Hey, Paisles. See, I did. No, you do not eat the cable. I did / do have one right here. This is the Q60. Just has USB. If you guys know anything about Keychrons, the Max means wireless. So it turns out they did originally. That was done. The Q60 was done as a group buy, and they made some extras. I didn't know they made them, so I was part of a group buy. Same thing happened here. And they make some extras. They were down to, at least in the U.S. Keychron store. Let me pop this open. Paisley, no, that's my dongle. You cannot eat my. This is the Keychron dongle, Paisley. You can't eat that. That's bent. My cable came bent. That's the new Keychron cable. I think it's worse than the old one. But it came bent, so I might as well get a replacement. Just Type C, guys. I just noticed that's why the other one was out. So. Alright. So, Keychron Q60 Max. So it's basically that exact keyboard, but maxified. Meaning it's got 3 Bluetooth slots and a Wi-Fi dongle, and still being available wireless, while being programmable by VIA. So, and I've gotten used to VIA. Even my Ploopy, the Ploopster here, programmed via VIA. I've come to like it. I still don't like that you have to use a website. But looks like you could fork your own GitHub and then use it, or some other stuff. There's ways for you to get it running yourself if you had to. So what's in here then? Oh, it's the same keyboard. Yep, pretty much. And yes, I got it stock. You can see. How do you know it's the Max? On the keycaps, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or 2.5 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz. Sorry. And yes, there were people online, I think Reddit, but that had bought the Q60 Max on pre-order without the keycaps. Like, they bought bare bones. Now, you do you, but personally, I see, why would you buy a happy hacking keyboard design thing and not get the keycaps? You know? Now, I'm not saying you can't get keycaps that look like this with it, but I think it's like a $40 difference. You get switches and caps. I literally do not understand. I will probably be changing the switches in this case. In this keyboard. Because, okay, so with this one, which we'll get out for comparison purposes, I bought in reds. Because I think it's Keychron Pro Reds. By the way, I couldn't buy another case. They were out. Kind of irked me. And shipping from them is like $30. So I don't know that I'm going to particularly buy just a case. Maybe if somebody else needs to order a keyboard, I can tap one on once. For now, I have a case, and it's the same case. So if I want to bring the Max to work, I'll just use that case. But that means that this guy will be chilling at home, you know, vibing like the studio up there, because it doesn't fit any of the happy hacking keyboard cases because it's a different size. Yeah, you pretty much can't tell a difference here. Old, new. I used this guy for about 4 months straight and got proficient with it, even though it has reds. Surprisingly, don't hate reds anymore. I mean, I'm not saying I like them, but I got really quick on typing on this with the Keychron Pro Reds. I think they have a little bit less actuation distance. But what is in here are browns. Dun dun dun! Yeah, those probably aren't going to last long. Because both of these have hot swap, and I've been meaning to change this one to something else. Just haven't. Because what happened is, this was on the desk. While our company was having a remodel at work, I effectively only used this, both on my desktop and my work computer. It came out clutch. Like, I would argue that, depending on your preferences, this might be a better happy hacking keyboard. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, because they all can be programmed now, even the base one that says it can't be, can be. Like, obviously, I'm still using it. Went back to it. But what happened here is this went off the desk when this guy came out. And I was even bringing this back and forth to work for the first couple weeks. I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and now it's up on top of Pokemon cards. Also, like, it's this spacing here. Paisley, that's a dead power supply from the server. Must you? Paisley Marie? Apparently we must. Alright, we've been told we must. So, like, my biggest thing is I thought I would like this. I always wanted a happy hacking keyboard. I even have a Tex keyboard, Tex Yoga 2. Yeah, I don't have a keyboard cover either for it, so that's why it's dusty as frick when it's up there. But it's made by Fujitsu now, because they own PFU. And this, to me, looks like a Fujitsu printer or scanner. Same finishes, same materials, same shitty sliding, you know, like, thin thing. I mean, it feels like a happy hacking keyboard. The build quality is of a inkjet printer, or entry-level laser printer. And realistically, I think it is this spacing, though, this extra big chin. Let's bring it over here. Even here, look. This has a bit of a chin on there, right? But nowhere near, like on this guy it does, but nowhere near what this has. Also, you have to space, you cannot have your wrist rest by the buttons, because if it is as tall as this, which normally you would want your wrist rest to be butting up against this, you can't press in the key, right? Also, there are touch pads, which I never used, on the sides and the front. So if you don't have a gap between your space, your wrist rest, and your keyboard, you can't use those. I normally do have a gap when I use the Happy Hacking Keyboard branded wrist rest because it's only 3 inches, maybe 3.5 inches wide, and I like a 4.25 inch wide. So I use my pinky as a space, and that's how much room I have there. That's not enough to be able to press those buttons. And then it's already pushed farther away because, you know, that bigger chin. So I one day I just got pissed because I was being unproductive when working from home with that thing. Got back out the snow, back in business. So when I was perusing, I was helping somebody find a keyboard. They needed a silent keyboard with a number pad. I was back on Keychron's site because if you want silent, you want gasket mount. What that means is like the plate is, we pushed it in, right? But it also can move a little bit more there. So the actual plate is not just screwed in. There's actually rubber suspending the plate. So that really dampens these key presses compared to something that's hard mounted like this. Then you want to get yourself some silent switches and probably some O-rings as well, because O-rings were like one of the original ways to quiet down a switch, except, you know, ignoring lube, just a massive amount of lube. So I was back on the site, and we couldn't get finding a, I think it was Epo Maker was the only one that made a gasket mounted keyboard that came with silent switches. They ended up buying a Keychron and are putting in silent switches. It's hot swap. It's not that hard. We ended up figuring out. But while I was there, bum, 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 Q60 Max. And yes, I will take this one away, and you're like, wow, the image did not change. Yeah, exactly. It's identical, I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but pretty much identical. The only difference is on the back of here, instead of just having our Windows and Mac switch, which all that really does here is swap these two, because normally this is Alt on the Mac keyboard and that is Command, I want to say. I might be wrong. I put the keycaps away already. Does this quick start guide have it? Yeah, I was right. Not Alt, it's Option. Option and Command. If you do the Windows switch, you can swap these keys out and it goes into Windows mode. Now it goes into Windows mode, default Windows mode, which is actually not the default Windows mode for a Happy Hacking keyboard. However, pretty much everybody switches Windows to not be this key, but to be this key. It just swaps them. There's a dip switch in there that does that. Same thing with backspace. This is actually delete by default, and that is function. This is backspace. Pretty much everybody that has ever used the Happy Hacking Keyboard Pro 2 and newer that has this feature swaps that, where basically this is natively backspace, not delete, and then this function, that is delete. I think by default this is delete, so it deletes that way, forward. And then backspace is like function that, or maybe function that, I don't remember. Basically nobody uses Happy Hacking keyboards though in the default way, especially if you're on Windows. You always flip a couple dip switches. There's like 3 that you normally flip that swap these around and make that backspace not delete, because that's how it is in the modern world, and then function that is delete. So there's similar that do similar stuff in there. But that's effectively what that switch does. And they're actually, technically, if you want to be like super technical about it, that switch back there does not actually switch between Mac compatible and Windows compatible. It's actually switching between layer 0 as Mac, layer 1 as Windows. So if you actually wanted to have 2 different layers that when you pressed function went to, I think you could have them go to different layers even then, because right now this goes to layer 2. But you could set up those, like, you know, say if 0 is Mac and you have it go to layer 2, you could let it set up layer 1 and have it to go to layer 3, I bet. So you could functionally have 2 completely different layouts for this keyboard if you wanted to. And they don't necessarily have to be Mac or Windows compatible. That's just what they're calling that switch, and they program one layer to be Mac keys and the other layer to have Windows keys. In my case, I did not touch the Mac layout, left stock, but did touch the Windows layout. So realistically, if you want to plug it in the Mac, this will work as it looks as a Mac, whereas in Windows, it will work how I think it should and how I program my Happy Hacking keyboards to work, which is just a modified Happy Hacking keyboard layout, essentially, is what it boils down to. I actually reverted more back to Happy Hacking keyboard as time went along, because I used to really want to use inverted T arrows, but it turns out I can see why they did it on a stock QWERTY staggered layout keyboard. Then the other one here is the important one that makes this the max. Also, pew 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 pew. That's the antenna right there, or the hole for the antenna, I should say. Right there, we have G, cable, and Bluetooth. The G, that's the 2.4 gigahertz wireless. I don't know why they call it G. Maybe that's their branding. And then cable is obviously the wired one. That is how you program it as well. And then Bluetooth is one of the 3 Bluetooths, which I have not paired up yet. This thing is redonkadonk heavy. Let's see here. Is this on? It is on. I've unplugged the scale. It's all the way under there. And the surface charge is plugged in. Yep. Look up the specs on Keychron's website. Sorry. But yeah. So what we're going to be doing here, something super simple. We're going to come over here. We're going to take the Happy Hacking Keyboard Snow and yeet it like, turned off in the meantime, and puts it up there for now, because I do not have a case for my snow. And then we're going to take the Studio and puts it back up there where it belongs. I want to hear from you, Happy Hacking keyboard people out there. If you've tried the Studio, do you like it? And have you used it for a long period of time? Because I can't type on that thing worth a damn. I can type really well on that thing. I literally just immediately pulled it out, put it on the desk, doubled my word per minute. And you're like, but that's a 60% and that's 60%. I swear, smaller differences like that make more of a difference. If you guys have seen the keyboard that's right there, that's an old scissor switch Logitech from the Vista era. I can type almost my full speed on that as well. But I've used one of those as my main keyboard for many years as well. Yeah, I don't know. Something about that Studio, I just can't. I just freaking... got a drip of something here. I don't eat at my desk. I don't know what I spilled. Solved. That's why you have fingies, guys. That's why you have the fingies. So, 0.5, ultra wide, and engage. There we go. Done. We're going to Bluetooth it to the work laptop. We're going to wireless it to Anthrax X here. And you probably just toss it in the... This is the mouse dock. Yeah. Here. Mouse. Name that mouse. Name that mouse. Can you name the other mice? Oh, what about this mouse? And then this is still the main. Fax.exe. So, they did come out. This is a version Gen 3 SkyPad. Limited edition. Very cool artwork in my opinion. One of the only ones that I really liked on their artwork line. They came on the new Gen 4. So as soon as there's a piece of art I actually like, this one I saw and I'm like, that it's amazing. I'll have to pick up the Gen 4. But yeah, this guy going right there. And this one to the laptop, I'll set up Bluetooth. So I just thought, really liked the Q60. Like I said, used it on basically until the Studio came out, and the only reason why I didn't switch back was I got frustrated one day and I switched to the Snow just because I was like, oh, this Studio Happy Hacking keyboard Studio is annoying me. I'm gonna go grab the other Happy Hacking keyboard and see if it's me or if it's the fucking keyboard. Well, I don't think it's a keyboard. It's just my adapting to the the keyboard that is the issue. And I typed so well that I was just like, ah, fuck it, let's just, and it's been there since. A couple months now. So, PZ, what are you doing? Oh, this is better now. Okay, cool. Oh, we have a kitten trying to make a spot. Yeah. So, you tell him what's up, PZ Piz. So, we're going to plug this guy in and get back. Well, I didn't plug it in. It's wireless now. Haha. Yeah, because it was really annoying. I have this cable, which is a Oculus Link cable. I use those for my keyboards because it's a nice right angle. You can get it going off there. Use one on my microphone there, too. And what was annoying, though, is I have that going to the desktop, but then I have to plug it in the laptop, so I'd have the Keychron cable, like, looping around, going back into the dock or whatever, and I have to switch. Now I can just do that on the keyboard, and you guys are like, oh, but it's wireless. It's going to be bad for gaming. I use that. Use that right there. So yeah, I don't need the wireless, because obviously the Ploopy is wired, right? But when I game, I pick up the Ploopy and I put it up there. It's kind of like in my number pad. That's why I like having a separate number pad, is I actually put it, like my mouse is where Ploopy is, or Ploopy is there. I can put the number pad here. Because what do I use more, the number pad or Ploopy? Nowadays, Ploopy. The Ploopster. Or even if we go mouse, you know, do I use the mouse or the number pad more? For what I do, mouse. So number pad goes over here. Because when I'm doing work stuff, I don't need this big of a surface necessarily. So, oh yeah, look at that glorious, like, gray beige color. Paisley, it matches you? Yeah. Matches you. Yeah, the kitten's getting too big for our collar. We had to extend it twice now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you guys want to know more about the actual Q60, check out my previous video on it. Because this keyboard is the exact same. Just wireless. Look at that. Look at that. Look at, she just took off my skin. Holy shit. That hurt, little kitten? Yeah, you're lucky I'm not bleeding. Hey, yeah, no. And check out the previous video if you want to see more of the technical specs and stuff like that. Basically, if you wanted the ultimate, in my opinion, Cherry Max version of the Happy Hacking keyboard that actually has the layout, has very similar key profiles, has almost the exact same size. I would say it's closer to the Pro 2 than the Hybrid. Since the dimensions changed a little bit with the Hybrid, and yeah, I felt at home in days with the original, and got up to my normal typing. I actually sometimes feel like I was faster on that board than I was on especially the Studio. Ugh. Or you know, like I use a Type S at work, and I don't know, something about that. I prefer the standard Happy Hacking keyboard, which is currently over on the repair PC. I thought I'd just be nice to the coworkers and get the Type S. Also, if other people have to use it, you can actually read the keycaps. And people are like, well, why does that matter? Why are other people using it? Sometimes you just come over your desk and like, oh, you got that up. Hey, can I just quick do the thing? So, you know, having the beige one for work purposes is a little bit nicer than the Type S. And traditionally comes in beige. So, but yeah, I got quite quick on there. I don't know how long I'm going to last with the browns on here. That is probably what's going to kick this off the desk. The other thing that's going to kick it off the desk is there is a little surprise from Happy Hacking Keyboard that got released that I almost freaking missed, and my feet are being attacked. Let's zoom this in. Yeah. Am I going pink keycaps again? Maybe. So what's probably gonna happen is once those show up, the Q60 Max is going off the desk, getting the browns ripped out. Put in some Cherry Max makes native Ergo clears now, so might get a set of those, and then the snow with the pink keycaps will just kind of appear there. So keep an eye out for that. I'm pretty hyped, and yeah, we'll see how I do with the browns. These browns, they're Gateron something 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 browns. The Gateron Jupiter browns. I would have heard the Jupiter bananas because they're like Panda switches, which are effectively ergo clears, maybe a little bit heavier. But literally, they were the only ones available. Was the Jupiter brown. I will show you here. If we go to Keychron's website right now, still only a Jupiter brown. Also, if you guys want one of these, hurry up. It's the only model available. Let's add like 15 to the cart or something, or 18 to the cart. Can't add more fully assembled to the cart. Okay. It doesn't. 7 of them. They have less than 7. 3? They have 3. I keep going. 4. 5. They have 4. They have 4 left as of this video in March of 2024. So this, you might see this video 2 years later. Like my release cycle. Have a good one as always, guys. I'm gonna get back to work. Peace. So all you're gonna hear is probably the laptop, but I don't know, man. That sounds so good. It hasn't lost any of its could use a wrist rest that's slightly higher, just ever so slightly taller, but